In a 2017 survey by Gallup, 15 million adult Americans identified themselves as part of the LGBTQ community. This is far too many people for a straight person to decide whether the queer community deserves to be treated like human beings. This number doesn't even account for the thousands of teenagers struggling to figure out their sexual orientation and gender identity, and this number is growing every day. However, a lot of teens don't get the chance to figure out their sexual orientation and truly be themselves, as they're forced into humiliating and detrimental situations in conversion therapy camps. Today, I will be discussing the debilitating homophobia LGBTQ+ people face daily, and persuading you why conversion therapy camps are horrifyingly dangerous and should be shut down, as well as what the opposition may have to say on this matter. Being part of the LGBTQ+ community myself, I've had to face accusations from both friends and family. I'm lucky that I have mostly supportive people around me, but there are millions of teenagers across the world that are ridiculed for their sexual orientation. About 1.6 million teenagers in America are homeless, and according to a 2012 study by the Williams Institute, 40% of that 1.6 million identified as queer. 43% of the queer community were actually kicked out of their homes by their own parents. LGBTQ+ teens who are living at home face a different set of challenges. In a 2015 survey by the CDC, it was found that on school grounds alone, 34% of LGBTQ+ teens were bullied for their sexual orientation, 18% dealt with physical dating violence, and 10% were physically threatened with a weapon. None of this data accounts for anything that might happen outside of school grounds. In fact, physical and verbal abuse is very common in friends and family and even in the media. Sometimes this pushes LGBTQ+ people to the point of suicide. But the most appalling of options is conversion therapy. What is conversion therapy? According to the Trevor Project, conversion therapy is any of several dangerous and discredited practices aimed at changing an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. If a parent isn't happy with their child's sexuality or gender identity, they have the option to send their kid to conversion therapy camp. These awful camps force kids to be straight through heavily enforced gender roles. Imagine being forced to participate in corrective violence, which can include everything from being beaten, humiliated in front of your peers, restrained both physically and with medication, being isolated, undergoing electroshock therapy, exorcisms, and even rape. There is no scientific proof that conversion therapy works. However, there is ample proof that it is both physically and psychologically harmful to anyone who might attend conversion therapy camps. Survivors all have forms of PTSD or other mental illnesses, and they're far more likely to commit suicide. There's also a lack of trust in doctors, police, and religious leaders in these survivors, as these people are the ones who fund and run these camps. While I'm focusing particularly on the US, there are over 40 other countries who partake in conversion therapy, and they use far more extreme methods. I won't go into detail about it, as this torture is brutal and violent, but it's real and happens daily to humans around the world. Some may argue for keeping conversion therapy camps based on religious thoughts and practices. In particular, homophobic Christians quote the book of Leviticus, which in the New King James Version of the Bible states that a man shall not lie with a male as with a woman. Let me ask you this. Why are teenagers being sent to dangerous camps that often result in their torture or deaths, all because of who they love? According to the Williams Institute School of Law, over 16,000 American teens will receive conversion therapy before the age of 18, and 29 states still accept practices of conversion therapy. A future where everyone, regardless of sexuality, can live freely is in reach if we push for it. But it can't happen if we still promote the backward notion of conversion therapy. I want you to look more into this topic. Go to the PA Coalition for LGBTQ plus youth and put a stop to conversion therapy camps in Pennsylvania. If we don't, an LGBTQ plus person you know might be the next to suffer from this terrifyingly real practice. Thank you.